My ex-boyfriend's wife isolated him from his family and friends. I need to help him.
Only if it's not at the detriment of yourself.
Let's get some more info here. A little background. Sorry, there's lots of text and names. I'll try to keep this as clear as possible. My ex-boyfriend Bill and I were together for 10 years from the ages of 15 to 25. We lived together for the last 5 years of the relationship. By the way, this comes from user T-Rex. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. We broke up very amicably with zero hard feelings. We just realized that we had both grown up into two very different people that we were at 15. Shocker. I'm still friendly with his mother and his brother, Fred, through Facebook. Bill is also friends with my family members, and we have lots of mutual friends. After we broke up, we remained friends, and a couple of years later, I met my wonderful husband, 38, male, and I now have a gorgeous little girl who's 4 years old. Bill also met his current wife, Fiona, around the same time I met my husband. We've both met each other's spouses and have gotten along well. Over time, Bill and I grew even further apart and only exchanged niceties over Facebook once in a while. Again, no hard feelings. It's all just part of growing up. The problem started when I fell pregnant with my daughter. I always love that, fell pregnant. Bill and Fiona have had trouble conceiving, and while I sympathize with the struggle they're having, it has started affecting their relationships with our mutual friends. Fiona started getting a little unhinged, for lack of a better term, when she found out I was pregnant and told Bill he couldn't contact me anymore. I didn't really care. I understand it must be hard for her, so I didn't say anything at all, as it's none of my business. After that, she started defriending and blocking all of our mutual friends who were pregnant or had kids. This hurt my best friend Anne's feelings, as she was also Bill's best friend. Anne moved across the country, and Fiona told Bill that he couldn't see Anne when she came to visit, which hurt Anne even more. I got pissed at Bill, and even though I wanted to stay out of it, I had to tell him how much he hurt Anne. He told me that he would make an extra effort next time she visited, but he never did. Now Fiona and Bill have moved halfway around the world to Australia. She's cut off all contact with his family.
She literally ran away to Australia.
Yeah, she's like, we're running to Australia.
No one will find us. No one will find us, and none of their babies will be able to assault my eyeballs.
Bill's older brother, Fred, had a baby recently, and Fiona instantly defriended Fred and his wife, as well as Bill and Fred's mother. She refuses to let Bill spend time with his family over the holidays and wouldn't let him stay with his family when he came back to visit without her. I have largely stayed out of this whole situation because I do not want to get involved with the crazy. But recently, Fiona has started emailing me. She got my email somehow from Bill's account and has told me that I should stop talking to all our mutual friends so she can add them back on Facebook. What the ever-loving frickety-doo-dah does that mean? She's also telling me very personal details about their relationship and asking my advice, which is just crazy. She wants me to write up a statement that says that my ex has autism. He doesn't, so she can give it to his doctor. I haven't responded to any of her emails, and I don't know what to do. Dude, that sounds like a crazy control thing. Crazy control thing. It's like you're trying to get your husband a formal autism diagnosis, and I don't feel like you're doing it because you're like, I want my husband to fully understand himself.
No.
You're like, I want my husband to feel like I have or need to be more in control of him than I already am.
No, this is all very, very bad. And also, I think you should block her.
Yes.
I don't think you should just ignore her stuff. Don't give her anything to work with.
I haven't responded to any of her emails, and I don't know what to do. I've had zero contact with Bill over the last 2 years since I talked to him about Anne, and I'm getting all this information from our mutual friends. This woman is obviously disturbed, and as much as I want to stay out of it, she's hurting people I care about, and I think might be emotionally abusing my ex, who may be a pushover, but is a genuinely nice guy. What can I do to help him, Reddit? I'm 100% sure she's reading his emails and Facebook, so I can't message him privately. Also, he lives in another country, so I can't try to meet up with him. There's definitely something wrong with her, and I want to try to help her out too.
I think you're taking on the little hero complex a little bit here.
Yeah.
Honestly, because you are not that close, and you're also not physically close, there's not really anything that you can do.
Yeah.
Maybe you could reach out to his family. But unfortunately,
they probably already know that.
Yeah, there really isn't that much you can do.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you care.
It is.
But
it is.
Yeah.
You're concerned with the wrong bucket. You need to be concerned with your bucket,
mm-hmm.
not Bill's bucket with his horrible wife. Just, Comments. Number 1, I would forward all the messages first to his family asking if they know what's going on. Next, I would forward them to Bill's email saying, you got these messages and are really worried. Even if she can see them, she knows that she can't get to him through you. Unfortunately, what you can do is limited. They're in a different country. You don't have any means of communication. You could call the police in that country, but I don't know if they'll be able to do anything. Ultimately, he's an adult. So unless there's proof that she's abusing him or holding him against his will, there's not much you or his family and friends can do. Comment 2, maybe reach out with your concerns to Fred since you stayed friendly with him. I'm sure he has similar reservations about Fiona, and maybe you validating them will help him support Bill as he deals with his wife's issues and or abuse. I don't know what else you can do since they live far away and you don't have any contact with Bill. OP replied, I talked to Fred recently to congratulate him about the baby. I casually asked about how Bill was doing, and that's when I learned about how he's not allowed to stay with his folks when he visits. Fred is rightfully pissed off and wants nothing to do with Fiona or Bill. I'll forward the emails to him anyway, so at least the family has a record of it. And here's the update. And I think right there, Fred illuminated he doesn't want anything to do with Bill because at some point it's like, you have to grow a spine. What do you want me to do? You want me to get in there and weld it together? So like,
no, it's really, I mean, it's really hard because when people are in situations like this where there is like abuse, even if it's just like emotional, it's really hard to get out of those situations, but only you can get yourself out of it because it is mental and because you have kind of been manipulated and stuff. And you're just not going to listen to anything else that other people have to say until you make that decision.
Update. Hello. Even though my original post didn't get a lot of attention, there were some good responses, and I thought I would update everyone as a lot has happened in the last couple of weeks. So I forwarded her messages to my ex's brother, Fred. He called me immediately and said that he would try to get a hold of his brother as soon as possible. I forgot to say in my earlier post, but Bill works as an independent consultant / contractor in IT, so it was hard getting a hold of him in his workplace.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but you're old.
You're as old as me now, pal.
I might be as old as you, but I feel like you have oodles more wisdom.
I've got some wisdom in this old noggin.
You got a piece of wisdom for me right now?
Always respect your
And I think the other piece of wisdom that I've learned from John is join OK Storytime memberships.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Get it now while I'm still alive.
Now back to the story.
That doesn't sound right. Every IT guy I know uses Discord. Frank received a few responses from Bill, just short emails saying he was okay, but Fred really wasn't buying it. Thankfully, I hadn't received any more messages from Fiona. I didn't reply to any of her emails, so I guess she gave up. I didn't think there was much more that anyone could do, so I just got on with looking after my own family. My husband, Dan, knew that I was worried about my ex, and as a testament to what a great guy he is, he set about trying to contact him as they both work in the same field of IT. I know, apparently, I have a specialized type. Dan is close to his boss and told him about the situation. Dan's boss contacted Bill through LinkedIn to set up a Skype consult. Dan's reasoning is that if Fiona is monitoring Bill's email and social media, then this will fly under her radar as she doesn't know Dan's boss and his connection to us. My husband is a sneaky, clever, cheeky little guy. They scheduled the call a day later and my husband hopped onto the call as well. He didn't tell me exactly what he said, but the gist of it was that Dan and his boss told Bill that we were all worried about him and that if he needed help, to just let us know. Bill broke down and started crying. He felt so hopeless and thought that no one cared about him.
Wait, okay, OP. You know what? I take it back. You freaking did the right thing, and like, what a kind, loving person you are. Because I was like, there's really not much you can do, but like, you were the only one out there was like, no, I have to do something.
I mean, there's not much you can do other than express it.
Yeah, which you did.
Once you've said it, that's really as far as it goes. And it seems like that's all you needed, perfectly enough, for him to be like, oh my God, you're right. My life sucks.
But like, well, I think just the fact that OP went the extra mile of like setting up this, like talking to Fred, setting up this thing, getting the husband involved, like you're a good person.
Turns out she was reading all his emails and deleted all the ones from his family as well as controlling all the finances. She was also physically smacking him and was too embarrassed to tell anyone. She's just shy of 5 feet and he's 6'4". Dan and his boss told him to pack his bags and head to the airport, and they bought him a one-way ticket back home. Bill arrived home a week ago or so, and he's doing well. He's staying with his mother and father, and Fred has been helping him get back on his feet and handle the legal stuff. Needless to say, they are extremely grateful to my husband and his boss, and have paid back the cost of the ticket, as well as buying Dan and his boss several bottles of very expensive bourbon, which they insisted on. We were happy to cover the ticket, but weren't going to argue with them. Dan and I told them that now that he's home, we were going to take a step back. His family is looking after him now, and they don't need our help anymore. We'll still keep in touch, though, and I think we'll always be close to Bill and his family from now on. Fred did tell me that the horrendous ex-wife doesn't want to come back home, so we don't have to worry about her turning up on our doorstep. And by the way, I will always be worried that you're not turning up on our doorstep, and that doorstep being the full episodes with stories like this one on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and wherever you get your podcasts. Just search OK Storytime and you'll have 47 days worth of content. Now, we do have a little bit left. I mean, do we have any finishing remarks here?
Finishing remark, I just think it's I think looking at this story originally, it seemed like you could tell the family and that was kind of it. But OP, I think, went the extra mile to help someone that she cared about. And I think that really is wonderful.
They're lucky they had that connection.
Yeah.
It's funny how stuff works out like that sometimes, It's like these obscure connects. It's like, oh, my husband's in IT and he's in IT. And it really is a sweetie. You had what's the word? You in no way were responsible for helping this guy whatsoever, but you did. So
you did anyway, and that's
little
amazing.
Angel baby move.
Yeah. You are the angel in this story.
Yes. And now let's finish this story. I don't know how Fiona reacted. She hasn't sent me any emails, so I don't think she knows I was involved or what's going to happen legally, because I don't want to be so involved anymore. It's time we focused on our family for a bit because I'm pregnant.
Woo!
Yeah. Couldn't have picked a better man to breed with. Also, Dan's boss let Dan bill the hours of Bill's rescue as personal development because there are still decent people in this world.
Wow.
Hey, the boss is cool.
He billed the hours that they were helping this guy?
Yeah, the boss was like, hey.
I was like, I liked when you did that.
I approve.
That was pretty stellar work.
Helping
it shows
out,
you're a team player and you care about the underdog.
I mean, technically, the other guy was in IT.
He did work for
They were
the
both
company.
in IT.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we have some comments here. Actually, we have one comment to finish it off. I am enormously impressed at how this was handled. That takes some serious maturity on everyone's part, especially your husband. What an absolutely fantastic man. Hey, and that is the end of that story.
Lovely. I love this story.
I think it was a fantastic story.
I agree.